We're going to focus, though, on the first of the AFC fixtures, which is the Denver Broncos against the Buffalo Bills. Broncos at Mile High. Buffalo going to go there. Haven't played each other this season. Bills beat the Jags to progress, as we know. This is their 6th consecutive year getting to the divisional now, and they've only progressed to the championship twice, which was in 2020 and 2024. And who'd they lose to?
The Chiefs.
The Chiefs. I'm still just enjoying this Josh Allen rivalry we've got going on, but it's great now that Denver has entered the chat. You know, they sit out a week. This is the criticism I may give, I think, to Seattle as well. I think potentially the bye was almost bad for both teams.
Yeah, I mean, there's been many years where I think one of the most famous ones is Colts had a bye and were unbeaten, like early 2010s, and lost to the Jets. I know that's mad to say, but we've seen this in the past. Packers have had some successful years and gone out early, and I think with the Broncos, they're probably, for me, that's the hardest game to pick, Fred. I think that is the toughest of the 4, because no matter what, I think when you look at the teams, you make a case for probably the Broncos being better in 70% of areas, right, across the roster, but it's the Josh Allen factor. And, even me saying as a Patriots fan, this is like his legacy run, right? If he doesn't win it, we've already established this on other episodes. If he doesn't win it, the narrative will be, well, there was no Lamar, Burrow, or Mahomes, and you couldn't get it done. Yeah. And I think he's mindful of that. They all, block out the noise. But it is really like a chance for him to sort of cement it'll be legacy in Buffalo because it'll be their first Lombardi, but legacy in terms of his playoff numbers have always been great. They've just been let down in areas. I don't think he's ever let this franchise down in the postseason other than his first start, but that happens a lot with young guys. So, I'm interested. I think the Broncos are in danger of being one and done. And I wouldn't have said that until that loss against the Jags. You know how high I've been on Denver all year.
It's a little bit of the experience factor as well, isn't it? If you look at, Denver haven't been in the divisional since 2015. That was the year they won the Super Bowl. And that was also the last time they had a first round bye as well. Okay, they have experience factor in Sean Payton. Sean Payton with New Orleans from 2013 to 2021 had 4 times. They went to the divisional 4 times, and they got that with a first round bye in 2018. So he and a lot of his coaching staff have done this before and have been there before. Not many people on this roster have. Nearly none of them have within this roster. I mean, there's got to be probably a few defensive players that they have. I mean, Hufanga, I suppose, the safety. But then offensive-wise, maybe 1 or 2 of the O-linemen, maybe?
Maybe J.K. Dobbins on the Ravens. I don't know, maybe on the Ravens.
J.K. Dobbins on the... Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was definitely on the Ravens. But then again, his injury history...
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't even play.
They're receiving calls like ours, right? In terms of, I say ours, the Patriots one, in terms of it's a lot of, unless it's your team, there's not a lot of household names. And Troy Franklin's obviously got the Oregon connection with Bo Nix. There's Mims, there's other guys, but it's not offense where you go through names and you think, oh, there's household guys there. The thing with Sean, I can't believe I've changed so much on Denver, because all season I've been saying going to Mile High, one of, if not the toughest place to go. But yeah, that loss to the Jags, and then the fact that the Bills have beaten the Jags. I know every matchup's different, but Sean Payton, again, as great as a head coach as he is, that time with the Saints, like the 2 losses to the Vikings, the miracle of Minneapolis.
Miracle of Minnesota. Minneapolis Miracle. Sorry.
Yeah, that one.
Your player.
The Ram, but let's hope Diggs does that this weekend. I mean, I don't want to go to the last play, but the game where obviously it was a blown call against the Rams, but I think that also plays into your mind as a coach as well. I feel the same about Shanahan on the Niners. I think he is. We all know he's a top 3 head coach in the league, but there are some who, when you start to have, it's the same as players. If you can't get over the line, maybe start to question your own play calls when it's a 3-point game in the 4th quarter, because some old memories start flooding in, as opposed to where other coaches have been, and they're a bit more free flowing with it. Like McVay doesn't ever seem phased.
You sort of hit the nail on the head though, but you didn't portray it in this way.
Mm.
It is a narrative storyline though, isn't it? Denver loses this game. Bo's first time. It is Bo's first time. They didn't get there last year, did they?
They lost. They were one and done, but to the
Sorry,
Bills.
yes, they were one and
Wait, was
done.
it to the
Sorry.
Bills?
Ooh.
I think they had because I remember they had that big shootout with the Bengals, and then they got in, but they didn't do well. Yeah, they lost 31-7
to the Bills.
Yeah.
Really, I did not think about looking about the history of that. In fact, I looked at the history. I looked at their season history and didn't spot that, which is
I remember the game.
Bad from me because I'm pretty good at that sort of stuff usually.
Yeah, usually you're the recency guy, and I'm the old man.
Yeah, but circling back to the narrative thing of it,
yeah,
you would go. But it's Denver team's building. It's building. More experience for Bo.
Yeah.
More experience for this whole team. Like you said, the household names on the wide receiving core could get better. O-line could get better. Defense could just get reinforced. But then if Buffalo don't win this, you're suddenly again, no Pat Mahomes, no Joe Burrow, no Lamar, not done it again. Couldn't do it. Didn't get to the big game. The head coach, Sean McDermott, gets suddenly, that becomes a bit of a hot seat guy in a way. And actually, if it wasn't for the departures of Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh this year, I think people would go, he's on the hot seat a little bit now. But actually now you go, they could fire him straight up. Like that could just legit happen now, because we've seen around the league that it's a little bit of a shift. They're starting to become this shift, I think, amongst the whole of the league that's going from not the old era, because I don't think McDermott is like old, so to speak, but like a more traditionalistic style to maybe a bit more of a younger, more vibrant style, I suppose. So that's got to play a factor as well. And I mean, it's not the only factor. The big thing is the Bills have been a phenomenal run team this season, but they're going against the best rushing defense in the league. And then the Broncos have been a fairly good top 10. In fact, they're top 11th in passing yards for this season. So they're a pretty good, they're a pretty decent throwing team against the best pass defense. And unfortunately, I'm going to be like saying this a lot. These games, all four will hinge on the turnover battle.
Yeah.
All four. And we won't get, you're not going to get the Texans Steelers game where the Steelers turn the ball over 3 times and get 3 points. You're just not going to get that. It's going to be one interception or one fumble. It might even be one each, or it might be 2-1.
Yeah.
And it's about, can you convert on them? And more likely than not, they do, to be fair, because all four of these teams, I mean, AFC, what we're talking about at the moment, are really good teams. And they are all very, very capable of causing a lot of problems and really, punching you in the mouth if they get it their way.
Yeah, I think again, you've hit the nail on the head there. And when you were talking about the stretch, like, this is what, I know it's against us at State in the obvious, but this is one of those classic matchups of who comes out on top when you put the strength v strength together. One of the best quarterbacks in the league against, like you said, the best defense, and then the weaknesses as well. I think the one good thing for Buffalo, which probably hasn't been talked about a lot, is the O-line is doing well. So that should negate some of Denver's pass rush. There's obviously a lot of talent there where they could still do it, but this is probably the one matchup, when we were, yes, it's nice that the Broncos got the bye, but a lot of people don't talk about these things. Like, I know the Chargers were banged up. I'm not just saying it because we beat them, but I think there was an element that the Chargers wanted to play the Patriots. I saw loads of Chargers fans on Reddit being like, weak schedule, doesn't matter that we're banged up, play them. And I bet you the Broncos thought when Trey Lance started, oh yeah, great, we've got the bye, but now we might have to play the Bills, because that's probably the one team they don't want to play. I think they'd be fine against probably anyone else, because the defense could dictate to play games on their terms. But I think the Bills, just with Josh Allen, if they can get up early, they're obviously not going to do what they did to them last year and win by 24 points, but they would need Bo Nix to play lights out to keep up with Josh Allen if he plays the way that he did last week against Jacksonville.
This is probably going to go against everything that you really believe, but if Denver wins this, they go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
For me, I think it's winning in for them.
because they proved that they are not, because they've had schedule questions as well. A lot of
They've been
one-score
inconsistent.
wins.
We saw them. We saw them in London, and they were not
It
good.
was all defense. It was like over
Mm.
10 sacks we saw. It was a crazy game, wasn't it? It was that one
It was
against
the
the
Jets
Jets.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we had that
Yeah.
45-minute press conference with Sean Payton, who is getting slammed this week for his press conference. But we both walked out of that and went, wow, that is
Yeah.
incredibly generous
And
time.
he's
And he was,
taking time because he's in London. Yeah.
he was there. We were there for about 45 minutes, maybe even an hour. It was a long press conference.
I said to you, even in the week, the media availability at Tottenham was great. And like, he was there for Bo Nix's press conference. I get it. You're protecting your own quarterback. He was there for 6 minutes. Sean Payton, I'm pretty sure I got like a 36-minute record of him talking about when he was overplaying in the 80s, stories. It was great. But that all ties into, I'm sure he'll be telling his players, not it's just another game, but apparently they've tried to recreate a playoff environment by starters v starters in training last Friday.
It feels like Mikel Arteta playing You'll Never Walk Alone, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's ramping it up. But yeah, I just think the offense, like you said, it's been inconsistent. It has to be better if they're to go on a run. And I think as much as I've been high on the Broncos, probably if we go back, I feel like I've always said make the Super Bowl. I don't know if they'd win the Super Bowl.
I agree on that completely.
Yeah,
that's why I didn't say they'd win. If they win this, they win the Super Bowl. I think
Bills, Pats, and Texans probably would all have a better chance in the Super Bowl because they've got better X factors. Texans defense, Drake May, Josh Allen, more Drake May, Mike Vrabel is the hybrid in that. I think that's
I can get where you're coming from with that. We will keep going on about it, I'm sure, later on, but I just think that NFC is a bit more overpowered at the minute.
Yeah. I think most people throughout the season have probably said, regardless of what happens, the NFC team will win. But then we say that we'll come on to them, but Niners are banged up. Seahawks have Sam Darnold, don't mean to be harsh, and the Bears, young team as well. So I think if it's any of those, then there's maybe a case for an AFC team. If it's the Rams, you're probably going to get 90% of people picking the Rams.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Broncos, back to the point, need to be better offensively, especially in this game. But if it all clicks in this game, Fred, you're right. If it clicks offensively and they beat the Bills, why would they not win next week, no matter who they play out of the Pats and the Texans? Because they've probably overcome their biggest obstacle.
Yeah. And I'm sorry. I know the train is on the tracks with it. We both were on that train last week. And I don't think either of us are probably willing to get off the train just yet. I just can't I can't quit Josh Allen. I can't quit him. I've seen what he can do. And he's proven to me what he can do. And it's why I'm siding with the Bills in this. And I think that narrative of that all these quarterbacks are not, all these teams and quarterbacks are not in the playoff picture this year. This is their one true hope, their one true go, because truthfully, they've not got the depth they're probably the most weak depth-wise team in the playoffs currently. And that's including the 49ers who are injury ridden, because the guys who have come in have been really good. Like they've got two players out now as well. Jordan Poyer's out. And is it Maxwell Hairston, the cornerback? Yeah. He's the rookie, right?
Yeah, and I was also thinking about Gabe Davis, not obviously as big, but he's injured on offense.
Yeah, but I just can't quit Josh Allen. That's why I think they're going to win. I think they might win this. I'm going to side with the Bills and say they win. It's a close game. I think it's going to be a very close, scrappy game.
I think it's the Bills, and I think Brandon Cooks. I mean, I know he's on arrival. He's been unlucky. He's obviously lost a Super Bowl with the Patriots, lost Super Bowl with the Rams, but they've got him, and he's been a bit of an X factor in short catches, but like he's picked up the playbook quickly. He had that big 36 yards? There was a big catch he had, like a 36-yarder, obviously to sort of silence that Jags crowd, and I think that's something the Bills have maybe lacked throughout the season and in years gone by. But this happened. Saints done a nice thing, let him go. He signed on a contender. He's played on loads of teams in his career, and maybe because there's not enough tape on him in this offense, that is maybe better than trying to get like a Keon Coleman involved or something like that. So, yeah, I think Josh Allen's making it work. And as much as we said about defensive injuries, the offense is good. Knox, Kincaid, Shakir.
Yeah. I think ultimately, we've just said the Denver are a fantastic defense and Buffalo has a better offense. And I trust Buffalo to be able to change it up more and more accurately than I do probably, and this is unfair to than I do the Denver offense. I think the Denver Broncos defense can. I don't know whether the offense can. I don't know whether they can make them. I don't know. You're sticking with it. You're going to go the Bills as well.
Yeah, and it pains me because I don't like changing from something throughout the season, but I think it's just that the Broncos lost to the Jags, and then Adam brought the point up on one of our shows about how bad they were in that finale against the Chargers' second team, 0 for 3 in the red zone. I think that, and then you've had a week off, it's going to be rust. I think if the Bills get off to a hot start, like I said, it's not going to be a blowout again, but I think the Bills are going to put enough pressure on them scoreboard-wise where they'll get it done.